Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, Facebook, and good day. This is LVS 17, and welcome to the show. And notice it's in blue this week, not red, because there have been changes at BeLive.tv, which I'm going to go through with David when David joins me in a moment. I'm just going to check that we're actually live. So yes, we're live. I can close that browser tab. I've just got two tabs open, and to anyone watching at the moment, and welcome, please share the broadcast because that's most helpful, and I'll come back to that later. And if you want to join us on camera, you're more than welcome. You'll find the link up above if you do want to join us. So those are the essentials taken care of. David has flown back from Orlando to join us today, and hopefully he'll be here in a moment. If you have any questions about live broadcasting, then now is a good time to ask them, because we're here to help you go live on a platform of your choice successfully. So my fingers are crossed, and momentarily I will be joined by Kaching. Hi, David. Kaching. Hello, David.
Hello.
All right. Can you just tell me what my screen looks like at the moment? Because it looks a bit fuzzy from my end.
It's a bit fuzzy.
All right. Okay. Now that you're here, and say hello to Andre.
Hello.
Let's see if it settles down a bit. Don't know. Very strange. Very strange. Anyway, how was Orlando?
Hot. But fun.
Hot.
Hot, hot, hot.
Uh-huh. Did you manage to relax? That's the problem, isn't it, with heat? If you've got dry heat, then you can cope. But with humid heat, you tend to melt.
Well, I think that's probably normally true until you get into the dry heat. And then when you sit there and you hear people say, well, it's a dry heat. And it's like, yeah, come live in it. The southwestern U.S. has experienced an extreme dry heat for the past week or so, 120 degrees plus. So I'd have to say at that temperature, it really doesn't matter.
I take your point. I do take your point on that. I mean, we're not built for such temperatures, are we?
No, not at all. Not with
where we live. Now, if anybody wants to join us on screen, you'll find the link up above. Just click that link, and you can join us on screen.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Now, my weekend revolved around twinning, and I'm going to show you a photograph, hopefully, of why we do this. I'm just waiting for so I've got to sign in with Facebook, and I can go to my timeline photos and pick up a photo at random. I'm going to bring that photograph up and go full screen. Every 3 years in Devices, it's our turn to host the twinning. Now, town twinning takes place in Europe because after the Second World War in the 1950s, it was decided that if people got to know each other, there would be less likelihood of any future wars. And so far it's held true. And twinning is where we, every 3 years, visit France, Mayenne in France, Weiblingen in Germany, and this year was our turn to host. So 150 people descended on Devices to spend a weekend of twinning. And as part of that weekend, as you can see from the photograph, the mayors of each of the three towns unveiled 3 stones. One travelled from Mayenne, one from Weiblingen, and one all the way to Devices from Somerset. And it was opened to actually celebrate 50 years of twinning. Because the three towns have been twinned for over 50 years.
Huh.
So thousands of people have visited each other. And it's not, when we actually visit Mayenne, we stay with families. We don't stay in hotels. So we get to know more of French life. So from Friday night until Monday morning, we spend it with the family. We have breakfast there. We have lunch in town. We go out on organised and unorganised trips, and generally get to know each other. And where we can, speak French and German.
Yeah. Wow.
Now, this year I'm actually
and there
chairman
probably would have been more of you Brits there, but I think because there were so many Brits and Scots in Orlando, your country seemed pretty empty. I thought at one point I was in London.
Brits abroad, eh? Brits abroad. They didn't put towels on the chairs, did they, or anything like that? Hopefully, well behaved.
Well, if there had been chairs, I'm sure there's not really a lot of chairs and stuff for you to be able to sit in when you're at the theme parks. So, but there were definitely a lot of your fellow Brits and Scots, and I think some Irish, but it was more Brits and Scots that I kept running across everywhere. It's like, wow. Well, that's a journey in itself, because that's like a 9-hour flight, I think. Or nine plus or minus hour flight from the UK over to
the
here.
UK. Yeah.
So that's
indeed. I mean, our French guests had a 9-hour ferry trip.
Wow.
Which, I mean, it is quite a commitment to actually either sail or fly that distance.
Yeah.
But once you arrive, then you can chill and relax. So all was good.
Good, and that's a great tradition that I'm glad you all are still keeping up. It's nice. We're not that nice here in the U.S. We could care less about twinning. So.
Well, can you not twin with other states?
No, we don't. No. We're pretty much every state. It gets down to every man for himself. Honestly, here it's we come together. We seem to come together in such dire times, and we make it all look nice and that's a pleasant place to be. Yeah. But when that all goes away, every bloke for himself, or Sheila, or whatever.
But that's very Australian of you.
Yeah. There were some
very international there as well.
And I had to, it's interesting when you travel. So, I mean, you're talking 9 hours, and that's a good distance and everything to travel and stuff. But there were also a lot of people that were obviously from either India or Pakistan or some country there. So you're talking, during the middle of the day is when they should be sleeping.
Yes.
And that's, that's jet lag. Jet lag and a half.
That's definitely jet lag. That's definitely jet lag. And by the time you've actually got used to being on Eastern time or Pacific time, it's time to go home again. And you've got to reverse the procedure.
Yes. And get reacclimated. Yeah, very much. I'm just sitting here complaining about the 1,300 emails that I'm going through from last week.
You take a week off and the world doesn't stop. I mean, I got the same situation, but only over 4 days because I didn't come online over the weekend from Friday through till this morning.
Yeah, I intended on doing some live business last week, and honestly, it either didn't work out when I wanted to do it, or I took a break. That was it. And I normally don't. This is probably the first time I've done that. I normally am checking the emails and stuff, and I didn't do that. So I can say that I walked almost 40 miles last week.
Brilliant.
So.
In the heat. Yeah. Yeah. But it's so just good to switch off.
It was good to switch off, and I did, a little bit of, I did a lot of relaxing and vacationing, but I also, I got a ton of material from last week, from the experiences. which will be coming out, and most of it's based around hospitality and customer service, and some of the experiences that I had. Not all of them were great, and apparently they didn't know who I was.
How could they not? You're on video. You're live on Facebook every single week.
I know.
Most days. God.
And one of the interesting, I had a huge laugh, because there is one of the news channels or one of the television channels down there. I think it's the NBC channel. They have a show. I can't really remember what it was called, the Jason Show or something like that. So, at least it was on television. So show's okay. And I guess the person, Jason or whatever his name is, when he would do his little blurbs and apparently when he's live on television, I didn't actually watch the show. He's got this huge microphone sitting on his desk. Well, it happens to be a Blue Yeti silver microphone. It's not hooked up to anything, just there for the looks, but I had a huge laugh at that. I was like, of all the things that you could have, the microphone that you have sitting on your desk is a Blue Yeti, which is going to have nothing to do with, you're going to have much better, hopefully, production equipment and audio equipment available to you at an actual production facility. So anyway, I thought that was funny.
The crazy world of broadcasting.
Yeah. We're not that far off when we're doing live video.
No, that's true. That's true.
Stop insisting on thinking that you have to have a show.
What show? This is just you and I chatting. It's not a show. We decided that.
This is kind of pointless. The person that I'm co-broadcasting with today, since he has like 8 or 9 or 10 shows that he does during the course of the week.
No, I'm going to turn over a new leaf. I'm going to do even more. No,
more.
No, I'm not. I think the point is, and I'll mention this later today, and David said this before, that if you want to establish yourself, then you should appear on other people's shows as well as your own. So I'm going to be more of a guest on other people's shows. And so hello to Carinder. And nice to see you with us, Carinder.
I think you would. I think people starting out would do themselves better, being on other people's stuff and partaking in what they're discussing, and stop trying to come up with your own agenda so often.
We're quite open to anybody being a guest on our show. You just need to click the button above and you can join us. But the thing about being a guest, being a guest, it means you don't have to produce the show, and you can just relax and chat and chill with the two of us, and no agenda. If you've got any questions about live broadcasting, we'll answer those. If you want to talk about what's happening in your part of the world, we'll talk about that. But if you have tech questions, then we're happy to answer those. And if you are watching at the moment, our call to action is please share.
The important thing is just go live. Go live somewhere.
Just do it.
You don't have to go live on your own stuff. Go live somewhere.
Yep. And get the experience.
One interesting thing, Stephen, that you had mentioned, and I'm not sure if it's active or if it actually exists, is you were talking about co-creator on Be Live.
I don't know about that.
Well, you said
it. You've convinced both of us that I said it, but I can't remember saying it, which is a basic problem. I can bring a guest in. I can share the screen. I can add photos. I don't think.
Oh, here it is. It says, we all have to sign up to the standard package trial, and everything will be sorted by the end of the trial. That was in reference to a question I had with Stephen, which I've done since then. And then there is, by the way, it is co-leader.
Oh, right. Yes. Sorry. That was in response to your mention of Maya as a leader. my being a leader.
Okay. See,
when in fact we are co-leaders. Right. This is just a misunderstanding between English and American friends. Lost in the phrase, I think, or lost in translation. So that's what I actually meant.
Do it. I'm not going to take ownership of that. That's all you.
Oh, right. Okay, fine.
We don't.
Right. Okay. Now, a good question from Carinder. You guys not using Smile Time today?
We are not. We decided to try Be Live today and see what that's like. It's very interesting on my part, to be honest, because I can only see either what Stephen, who created this broadcast, chooses to highlight, or if I'm actually catching the comments as they flurry by. I don't get to see, so it's a little bit different of an experience doing our weekly broadcast using Be Live than normal.
Yeah, because on Smile Time, we've got the ability to have 4 on screen, and everybody can see the comments, can't they?
Yes.
Yeah. And you can see me on screen, I can see you on screen, and our guests can see everybody on screen. Yeah, that's an interesting comparison. I think that on a personal note, when Eileen made a comment about when we spoke to Alex, and basically he's saying that shows weren't the thing anymore, because Eileen sort of marked that out as being sort of, she'd heard it before somewhere, and that live chat was the thing. So I watched the whole video again, and he did say that, but he did say that we're still welcome there. So no doubt we'll be back there next week, because it's just good to have the freedom.
Yeah, and you know, all these platforms have to figure out exactly. You know, they're going to change directions every once in a while. They're going to adjust as they see what works well, and honestly, what might be offering them money. And since Smile Time is free to all creators, they have to get their money from somewhere. They have investors. They have particular interests that they are actively going after. And if those interests sit there and say, you know, that's neat, but, you know, we're looking at this, or if they feel that they are getting, which is more often the case, too much inbound traffic requests from people. Well, gee, we'd like to see it like this. Why don't you change everything to fit my needs and what I need and what I want to do type stuff? Then, you know, they're going to sometimes sit there and say, it's not worth it.
Yep.
We tried making you happy and appeasing some of your requests, but, and I'm not speaking for Smile Time, Be Live, or any of the other platforms.
No.
I can understand because I see it come along. Because inevitably, every single time something new comes up, one of the first things people do is, can I share my screen?
Yes, indeed, they do. And we're going to be joined for a moment by Carinder, and we'll take Carinder's point as well.
Okay.
Hello, Carinder.
Hey, everyone.
Can you hear us?
Yeah,
right.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Do you have a... Yeah, we can hear.
Yeah, so what you were saying is that now I'm on the Smile Time, and I agree with anything, but Alex told me that you put the money so that the producer or the fund can have the money to donate.
Right, I'm trying to get the gist of that. Do you catch the gist, David?
No, he's actually frozen on me.
Okay, Carinder, if you're still here, can you type that in the text box as well, and then we can take it. Okay, then that's the other thing, and this is something we've got to come back to. This technology is in beta, isn't it?
Yes,
and,
it
is. It's not going to be 100% perfect all the time, and depending on where in the world you are is going to depend how successful you are. Now, if you're in the US or the UK or mainland Europe, you stand a fair chance for everything working. If you are, however...
Unless you have Stephen's British internet.
Well, that's true. I think Angelica must be...
just a crapshoot from there. So
I know. Angelica must be watching videos. So, something like that. Hopefully Carinder will come back and make his point, and next time if you just type Stim. But I mean, the thing is, there's so many variables: broadband speed, processor speed, that I wouldn't. I mean, being a broadcaster, and you can't sort out individual cases, can you?
No, you can't. It's it's still it's not going to be mainstream for a while, and if you're operating equipment that's 10 years old and that's your Wi-Fi router or something you bought on discount at the local Walmart or whatever the equivalent would be wherever you are, and that's 15 years old and you only spend $15, and you're going to find that you have to upgrade stuff as you go along. Yeah. But even then, things can happen, and it's just kind of, you got to roll with the punches and go along. It's not and I know for mission critical stuff, people want to interview someone else. People want to present something to a group, and they want it to all go off without a hitch. And I'm sorry, it doesn't matter. You don't own the internet. You don't own the service. You don't own the service that they may be using, like maybe BeLive requires Facebook, for people to be able to view it. Things are going to happen. So if you want to do a bang up video of an interview with somebody else, then I would use something that's a little bit more tried and true. Maybe Skype is a good option, and have somebody on and record and then upload the video. And then what you can do later from that point is you could come on and you could, talk about highlights from the interview. If there's a way to maybe play snippets or take screenshots and talk about things, you could do all that type of stuff. You'll be a lot happier. Yes, it's a little bit less live and in their face and all that type of stuff. But it kind of is what it is that you have to deal with as you want to go along. So even the paid services out there, I mean, for webinar platforms, GoToWebinar has been around forever.
That's right, yeah.
They constantly have problems. And you are paying a premium for their service. And sometimes if you complain loud enough, hard enough, you can maybe get a little bit of a discount back. I mean, if something was that. But otherwise, they've all got this stuff written into their terms of service and everything that acts of God, we can't control.
Yeah, I mean, the
forces of nature can't be helped. So, when you are broadcasting, and that's one reason it's a good thing to practice by going on to others. This is something I was hinting at when I was talking about, it's a good thing to go on to other people's broadcasts. One, you get used to the environment, go on to a lot of different ones. You will see a lot of different things going on. You'll pick up a lot of things as you go along and view other people's broadcasts and participate in other people's broadcasts. Maybe how backgrounds are, or audio or video, lighting and all this type of stuff. You can pick that little bit of stuff up here and there, but you can also pick up how things flow and how things work. And you can watch people that as things happen, how do they react to the situations? Because when you're brand new and everything goes wrong, and it will, you're going to sit there and you're going to over apologize a whole lot. You're going to get frantic. You're going to sit there and try and do take 2, take 3, take 4, take 5. And I mean, if it comes down to something like, the internet for today is just crap. It doesn't matter how many takes you're going to do. It's all going to be crap. So
that's true.
That would be a very good reason to sit there and do that type of stuff. But nobody wants to listen to that. Nobody wants to do that. What they want to do is they want to do their own stuff. They want to be their own voice in a sea of a million other voices.
Carinder back, and I've got Carinder's question or statement, because Carinder spent some time on Smile Time while you and I have been in other places, and Alex and Matt have said to Carinder that, speaking last night, the producer of the show can now get paid. Is that correct, Carinder?
Yeah.
So you can now accept tips as much as they did on Fire Talk. So there's now a remuneration package on offer on Smile Time.
Yeah.
And I'm going over to Smile Time to go look at this right now, which will be
okay.
kind of weird because we'll probably try and enable my camera.
Okay. Brilliant, Carinder. Live investigation of this. And check it out, because one of the things that we've obviously been looking at is the way for broadcasters to actually earn money from broadcasting, and it looks like Smile Time have understood that, and they're now bringing in the ability to get paid by the people who are viewing you. So in other words, it's like a bit like the YouTube. Is it like the YouTube one? No, YouTube one is on comments. So if somebody who likes the content you provide, they can just give you a tip. $1, $2, $10.
Huh.
Yeah.
Right. David? That was a hard.
I'm not seeing anything about it right yet, but that could be just me. So
right. Okay.
I'm going to get out of that and go out of that. And I will check it out later on. Is this something that is to come, Carinder, or is this something they're saying is now active? Because there would have to be a way for me to set up.
It's going to come.
Oh, okay.
Right. Okay. Well, that's something to look forward to.
Well, and I think that seems to be a trend going on right now. With Periscope announcing Super Hearts or whatever they were calling it last week.
Yeah.
YouTube has had changed their oh gosh, I'm drawing a blank now as to what it was called.
Featured comments.
Super fans is what they're called now.
Right. Okay.
I can't remember what it is, but I mean, you are required to have a certain amount of subscribers to your particular channel before it's enabled. But
2,000.
1,000.
1,000. Right. Okay.
1,000 subscribers. I can tell you that YouTube seems to be pushing more about going live because they were sending me updates last week.
Oh, brilliant.
Or notifications, not updates, but notifications last week saying, go live. It's like, I can't. My battery keeps dying.
Right, because you can go live from mobile, can't you?
I can. On one channel. Not on any of my other channels, but most of them are just play-around channels anyway.
Right.
So.
Okay.
So that does seem to be a trend that's heading on is people wanting to get compensated in some form or fashion, and Patreon, I know, which is an area that some people do, is changing directions. I need to read up on that. A lot happened last week while I was out, and I didn't read up on. I think the important thing is it's kind of like with YouTube, which really started the trend, with
Yep.
getting paid for the ads for creators getting paid for the ads that run on their monetizing their videos and getting paid for a portion for those ads, is that a lot of people, I'll just create a YouTube channel and monetize my videos and make lots of money. Well, one, you get a very small percentage, and it's actually decreased of the ad revenue that goes out. Now, it is there, but you've got to have a consistent, very high number in order to sit there and earn a living.
Yes.
And most people's businesses and everything, when they come to me, now monetization is enabled on my channel for reasons. The number one reason is I don't care whose ad runs on my video.
Yep. Okay.
A lot of businesses probably couldn't state that. And I always ask, if your competitor were ever to show up before your video plays, would you care? If yes, don't monetize your stupid video. Just turn it off, because you're not making any freaking money really anyway. You're not getting an increase in stats. YouTube, all this type of stuff, they don't care. Because they're going to run ads other places and do other things. So, when it comes to like the Super Hearts or whatever they're called, and now Smile Time and that type of stuff, that's nice. But I wouldn't look towards it for anything other than, just something, a little additional perk for somebody to be able to put in.
Yeah, a tip.
Yeah.
It's not the wage, it's a tip. Is anything else happening on Smile Time, Carinder?
Apart from that, no.
No. Okay. Has anybody been back to room 01 yet?
I have not.
Have you been back there, Carinder?
Yeah.
Was there anybody else there?
Yeah. There was Donald, Ellie, Brian, me, Alex, and what's her name?
Allegra?
What was her name? Yeah.
Anyone there besides the staff of Smile Time?
Well, Carinder and Donald.
And you, Carinder. So was anybody there when you were there that was not a paid member of Smile Time?
Yeah, Donald and Ellen, Anya.
Okay.
Right. Okay. With 6 of you on screen, what was it like? Clear?
It was good. Like, it was a bit glitching, but it was good.
Okay. And have they improved? Sorry.
Their video has improved, but it was a bit glitching.
Right. Okay. Because the first impression with the low res video, if you increase the res, then that helps. Because they've got at least to be on par with the peer-in, haven't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I was yesterday, I was on my iPad. Like, on Smile Time.
Okay. Right. All good. Carinder, thank you for reporting from Smile Time. We'll catch you later. Take care.
Thanks, Carinder.
Right. So, good news. I mean, if you're getting serious about room 01, we best explain what room 01 is, though.
Yeah, I'll let you do that because I'm still not really sure what room 0 is, aside from an experiment.
Yeah, it's an experiment by Smile Time insofar as you can go to room 01, and the link is on the front page of Smile Time now. Go directly into the room, do not pass go, don't collect $200, and you actually can then press one button, go on screen. Anybody else who presses the button joins you on screen until there are 6 of you. You can talk about anything you want. There are no controls to monitor it, although I have to tell you, that if you do go into room 01, you are on several from the Smile Time officers, because they're actually monitoring what's going on. So they've got it up on the big screen, and you can see yourself on the big screen. It's an experiment. I mean, it's to get people involved with basically just press one button and go live. Yep. I mean, I can see a case for it if it was rather than just a free-for-all room. If you had a room for basketball and a room for hockey and a room for soccer, so a themed sort of room. Yeah. That.
Well, I think it's what was interesting is a lot of people were speaking about what you had just mentioned, which was press one button and you're on, and a lot of people are familiar with Blab, and that was kind of how it was. What it was, you just pressed a button and you were on. And instead of converting everybody's room into that type of format, what Smile Time has chosen to do is take one room, build it, and then see if it works, if it's used, and then go from there as to maybe some suggestions like Steven's talking about, where you could have themed rooms, or you can have maybe they'll make it to where you can create your own room, so just like that. One of the interesting things that Alex said when he was on a couple of weeks ago with us was that they've done zero bit of advertising, marketing.
Yep.
And they really have. So what did they do from there? How do people find out about it?
Exactly.
Same way that people found out about Blab. You get some people that are in there and interested.
Yeah.
You get some people in there that are partaking and talking about it, and then other people will sit there and join. I mean, I found out about Blab because I was on Periscope. Someone joined my Periscope and said, "Hey, have you checked out Blab?"
Yep. Word of mouth. Recommendation.
Yeah. And that's really that's the best type of marketing that you can have. Indeed.
And that's exactly how BeLive's grown. Word of mouth. And the creation of the group. And of course the BeLive in 5 courses. Speaking of which, he said, that if you're interested in BeLive in 5, there is a Udemy course, and I'll just paste the link onto Facebook. BeLive in 5, and it's free. So I'll put that on as well. And the other thing about a BeLive in 5 is that there are now 959 people on the course, which without any marketing is pretty good.
Yeah.
And just shows the interest, because what we're finding is that the people taking the course are not members of the BeLivers group on Facebook.
Right.
Yeah. So it's reaching out to a different audience, and you can reach audiences in a variety of ways. And just staying with BeLive for a moment, if you are interested in trying out BeLive for 14 days, then there's a link for. I'll just paste that. And so there we are. So those are both posted. So you've got the Udemy course, and you've got a 14-day free trial of BeLive. So hopefully that will help push it as well. If you are watching us now, please share. If you want to join us on camera like Carinder did, and thank you Carinder, then just press the link up above and you can come in and we'll talk about anything related to, well, we've talked about everything under the sun today, but we'll talk about anything technical or anything you'd like to share. And if you'd like to be our guest on one of these future shows, in other words, we will chat to you beforehand and discover what you want to talk about, then you can come and be a guest on our show, and we'll chat to you and interview you and help you. So yeah. Be a guest on our show. Why not? It doesn't cost anything. It doesn't cost anything. and we'll promote your show as well. Yeah, it's
another interesting thing. Not that I have that much in view from Smile Time, and I'm running blind. I haven't actually opened up the broadcast anywhere, so I have no idea how many people are actually viewing.
I can tell you 2 are.
Okay.
I had a think about this and what was going to happen once Be Live went paid. Would it have any reaction? And I think from today's broadcast, we can say either people are taking the day off, or it is having a reaction. And few people watching. But one of the people watching us today is Donald. Hello, Donald. And Donald's got a question. Did we see the new Go Live feature on YouTube? It works much better than now, but it's limited. Donald, if you want to come in and talk about that, then just press the link above.
Donald, are you talking about the mobile live, or are you talking about going live from the desktop?
Okay.
The mobile live I'm aware of, and it was actually pretty easy. So I'm going to assume you are referencing, let me switch channels.
Whilst Debbie's doing that, can I please say, vote for Stephen?
Yes, vote for Stephen.
Vote for Stephen. Vote for Stephen in the streaming awards, which taking place until June 30th. And if you have voted me, big thank you. I really appreciate it. But there are some heavy hitters in there, people who've got whole production systems, and they have taken over the leaderboard, and I've dropped to 11th or 12th. This is the final run-in, and over the next 3 days, if I can get 30 to 40 people to give me three points, then we're back on the leaderboard. And this is one for BeLive.tv, and everybody will broadcast with me, because if the award goes to me, it's for productions on BeLive.tv, which reflects on everybody. And I'll see how it goes and look forward to the results. So vote. You can vote the once, and please give 3 points. Now, just do a point on the voting. Now, are you ready to go, David?
I've already been checking while you've been talking about how you've dropped down below 10. So you need to go vote for Stephen. Let's at least get him to 9. Something, people, come on.
Just for being there.
He needs something to be able to take home to himself.
Right.
I am not seeing any easy seeing it any easier than it already has been from the desktop. Now, Donald said it's limited, so it could be that it's something I don't have access to on the desktop yet, which is why I was asking. And I don't know if Donald has responded.
No,
with the
if you've got more information, Donald, we'd
love to hear more, Donald. Don't just dangle the fish in front of us. Let us chew on it for a little while.
Indeed, do. And one of the things we can do whilst we're on Be Live, and this will never be on Smile Time, but I can share my desktop, which I'm going to share now, and bring it up to the screen. Now, if you are going to share your desktop, 2 things. 1, press it to go solo, so it's the only thing showing on the screen. So everybody who's watching to go full screen as well. That gives you the better experience, because trying to squint to the screen doesn't work. I'm just going to go over to Be Live, and this is the main screen. And when you get started now, you will see that even on solo, which is 1 person on screen, you can add a custom logo, you can add a custom frame. And Carinder came up with a question earlier, which was, why wasn't I using a frame? When it says frame, I took it being something like a picture frame. So I went to around and collected this wonderful set of picture frames, and they are transparent. They do work, but the thing is, they take up a quarter of the screen. So I've now gone back to Tina, and she's actually creating some. You can create a scheduled broadcast. You can add a custom logo. So those are the logos that we're 17 and repurposing tomorrow. And you can add a custom frame. And just give an example frames. There's the one that's much too big. And you can also set the colors. So you can set a text color. So if you wanted it to be bright purple or red, or even that color, then you can set the text colors that appear on the screen. So that when you set them for a new broadcast, it all works properly. And you've got the schedule, got the logo, you've got the frame, and you've got your custom colors. And all that is available in the 14-day trial. I'm going to stop sharing my screen and hopefully come back. So those are the real benefits, the things that have changed, which were sort of announced last Monday. So you've got a custom colors. So I've chosen, and hello Donna Marie, I've just chosen blue and white. You can have a frame around the picture, which I didn't. You can in fact switch that frame on and off, which is probably good because when I put my frames on, you couldn't actually see me.
Okay.
Yeah. So screen share works very well. And just to say, I mean, these updates just keep coming.
Yeah.
They really do. And they are listening to people and improving the system. Now, as I say, audience-wise, it's going to be interesting to see what happens once it does go chargeable. I mean, the situation is that we're in the second week of the trial now. The trial will run out for most people next Monday. So from next Tuesday onwards, we should start seeing what happens to the number of shows that people are doing. Of course, just to point out, in the free version of BeLive.tv, you can still do 2 shows per week of 20 minutes duration at no cost at all. So if you're only doing 2 shows a week and you're only running 20 minutes, then you can use BeLive.tv. So, Donna, if you want to join us on screen, just press the link above. You're welcome to come in and join us. Or if you have any questions, please ask those. Right, it's difficult to tell whether we're actually talking to each other or talking to an audience. It's nice to see people reacting. Perhaps it's because we had a break and we need to come back and sort of push it and get excited and.
Well, it could be a number of things. It could be we've had a break. It could be that people themselves are on break.
That's true.
They have no questions about live video. Maybe we should consider suspending doing this particular broadcast for the summer if we don't see, a lot of participation on the viewer.
Well, in the summer, yeah. I mean, I think we should definitely have August off. Yeah. August off. Definitely. Well, do you want to? Yeah.
Well, next Monday is the 4th of July, and that is our Independence Day. So I will not be around for that week either.
I can understand that. Just a moment. Just on that note, just let me check my calendar because I don't want to stuff this up. Just a minute. I'm just going to my calendar and to July 4th week, and I'm just waiting for the show. Yeah. Okay. Just to say that David, so you take next week.
Oh, you're breaking up on me.
All right, okay. I'm going to close a couple of windows then.
that British internet.
I'm going to close a few things. I'm going to close that. I'm going to close that. Yeah, the 4th of July is the Tuesday, and just. To everybody who's watching today, if you're interested in repurposing.
I thought it was Monday. Was I wrong?
Yeah, 4th of July is a Tuesday. We know that because Tina and I invited Danny Mura, and he's going to talk about his WordPress or Facebook to WordPress widget. I think so, unless I've got the wrong calendar. That's always possible.
No, you may very well be right. And I was going around thinking that it was.
Thank you, Donna Marie. It's a replay. And yes, if you want to come
right,
on,
because the first is Saturday, so that would make Tuesday the 4th of July.
See, I stopped you celebrating a day early there, David.
Yeah, you did. You know, I mean, this is British and American cooperation. I mean, I know you're celebrating 200 years independence from the UK, but you know, we've become friends. Yeah.
Anything's possible.
What do you do?
Yeah.
Well, you know what? Then there's absolutely no reason not to have next Monday's broadcast.
Okay.
That's going to be a weird holiday for us. I need to figure out how they're doing that at the corporate office.
Oh, right. Okay. It falls on a strange day, does it?
It's falling. Yeah, Tuesday is kind of an odd 4th of July. So basically next week, nobody in the corporate world will be working.
It'll be a long weekend.
It will be.
Or a long week.
It'll be a long weekend and a short week.
Right. So you don't reckon anybody will be back till Thursday?
Yeah. And I've actually, so Thursday, yeah. Which is kind of weird because Wednesday and Thursday I have stuff to do. So interesting. Right.
Okay.
Disregard next week as scheduled and planned.
Yep, we're good, and I'll try and get some better internet. That's always a good idea.
I don't think that's going to happen.
Not overnight, no. We live in hope, though. Just need the broadband provider to upgrade their system, and all will be good. I mean, it's crazy because in some parts, right? Yeah. And in other parts of the country.
And I've recently heard some people, and they're like, "Oh, you know what? I had the Wi-Fi turned on my phone."
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't really, I can't really understand how your phone's Wi-Fi being turned on and connected to your home Wi-Fi or wherever you are. I can't understand how that would actually be affecting you broadcasting live. I mean, unless your phone's doing some serious kind of data usage back and forth and updates and all that type of stuff. I don't know.
Okay.
But I have seen it where people's like, well, I turned the Wi-Fi off and everything improved. And it did. And I'm like, huh.
Yeah. Okay. I can give you not a live broadcasting example, but an example of that.
Okay.
In the UK, we have BBC iPlayer, which is free shows on demand. Yep. Okay. Which means it goes through the Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
And if we have a bad day, if it's raining or the wind's in the wrong direction, then we get bad reception on the television. Okay. And if we switch the portable off and we switch the tablet off and we switch the phone off, it works. Now it might be voodoo, but can you explain why it shouldn't make any difference?
Can I explain why it shouldn't make any difference?
Well,
unless your mobile devices, and I'm plugging, and I'm still unpacking from my trip. Unless your devices, so I mean, the only reason that it would matter is if your devices are actively using the data on your Wi-Fi connection, and I mean a lot. Streaming. Streaming would be a good, for instance. Somebody is watching something that's streaming. Netflix, Hulu, one of the local broadcast stations, whatever. Okay.
YouTube video, Facebook video.
YouTube video, anything like that. So turning off the Wi-Fi on the devices, I mean, it makes it to where the devices are not trying to actively do whatever they're trying to do over the internet.
Yep.
But again, they really shouldn't be doing that much. Now, if you are using an older Wi-Fi router, then a difference. Or you were using your modem for your internet is also an all-in-one type device. Either over here, I mean, you can get a modem that's also your Wi-Fi router, and it's also your phone.
Yeah.
I don't know about television, but I guess maybe if that's somehow linked in there and
it is
doing some kind of hookup stream up for your devices, then yeah, maybe that could affect it. That would be really weird.
Yeah, I mean, I'll tell you the setup. There's a repeater, there's the Wi-Fi plug that goes into the wall into the socket next to the television. That's connected by Wi-Fi by the power cables to the router upstairs, and then it goes from the plug to the television on the Wi-Fi connection. See?
Yeah. Still kind of weird.
Okay. We'll leave that in the weird category then.
Sounds very British.
Very Heath Robinson. Yeah. If we can find a way to do it. But there are no trailing wires. It has to be said.
No trailing wires. And so it's kind of, yeah, we can give you this, but then you're going to sacrifice that. And who knew that live broadcasting would take off like it did?
Who knew, indeed, and may it continue to do so. Well, we started this by talking about Orlando and twinning, and we've gone through a whole range of subjects. Thank you to Carinder for bringing us up to date on Smart Time.
Yeah.
I sense we'll both go and check that out. Thank you, Donna Marie, and look forward to reaching out later in the week and doing a show together.
And I want to know more about the YouTube thing.
Oh yeah. Donald, if you catch the replay and you do get to the hour mark, then this is our request to let us know a bit more. We'll probably post it as a comment.
You've watched all the way to the end.
Oh, that's the other thing.
So if you're not Donald, you can ignore this request unless you know about it. Tell us more about what you were talking about with going live.
That's the beauty of the stats that we get on Facebook for the pages is that you can tell when people stop watching.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you know what you did which made them go away. And you vow to yourself you'll never repeat that again. But damned if you do, damned if you don't. Right, okay. Now, I did the outro. Whose turn is it? Do we have an outro? Does it matter?
I think it's Carinder's turn.
It's Carinder's turn for the outro. So on behalf of Carinder, Dave and I would like to say, if you want to know anything about live video, don't ever watch this show. If you want to take a Udemy course, don't take Stephen's course. If you don't want to vote for anybody, don't vote for Stephen. Over to you.
You're getting better at this. Now we just got to get that radio. We got to get that show announcer tone coming out of you. So once again, we've come to yet another close of another hour of teaching you absolutely nothing about live broadcasting and not answering your questions. I am David Vaughan, and this is Stephen Healey. If you would like to know little to less more about going live, or if you would never like your questions answered about live video, live broadcasting video, or anything else, do not join LVS 17, the Facebook group, and please absolutely do not go and like the LVS 17 page. By the way, there's also Be Live in 5, and what does that not teach you? It will never teach you how to not go live in 5 simple steps. They're not 5 simple steps. They're really hard steps, and why in the world would you want to torture yourself and bring yourself through that type of situation? Just go back to making drawings with crayons. And let's see, there's the Udemy course. Yes, Stephen mentioned that. Don't watch that. That won't help you one bit. Please do not vote for Stephen. Go vote for the other 11 people who are obviously more important than he is. And Stephen will provide the link in the comments if he's not provided the link please feel free to ignore it. Thanks a lot for hanging out with us on this weekend, this hour-long broadcast, because obviously you had nothing better to do and bored you to death. Please don't ever come back again. My name's David Vaughan. Just kidding about all that previous stuff. Please, if you have any questions after this video and are watching the replay, make sure to ask them in the comments, or you can reach out to us on any of the pages, groups, or whatever else I happened to mention before. I am David Vaughan. That is Stephen Healey, and we are done. Bye.
We are done. Bye, everybody. And I've tried, yeah.